होने में और बहुत कुछ होने में इतना सा फर्क है, एक बार सोच के छोड़ देने में और लग के कर दिखाने में। मान लेने में कि जिंदगी ऐसे ही कटेगी और सुबह 4 बजे उठ के सोचने में कि अभी तो बस शुरुआत है। किसी मैगजीन को हाथ में लेने में और उसी मैगजीन के कवर पेज पे होने में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वीआईपी सीट में और उसकी पिछली सीट में इतना सा ही तो फर्क है। वो जिसका मैदान ही खुला आसमान है, वही कल जमीन पर तो था। पूछोगे तो बताएगा वो पंछी, ये एक दायरे में सिमटने में और पूरी दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा ही है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत हैं पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं। फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया, 20 years of ideas.
Very good afternoon to all the dear participants and friends, those who have joined us today for our Bharat Franchise Show. Franchise India is there to help each day all the business investors, potential business buyers to get the franchise solution from our side. And we truly claim that no one sells more business than us, because we have helped more than 78,000 investors in getting the information about 500 plus different opportunities. We have helped more than 5,000 international and national brands to expand their business with our 80 plus offices. And we truly believe in perfect relationship, partnership between investors and brands. And today is also, we are bringing the brand which is creating value proposition and market. The brand which we are representing for each one of you is BookEventz. It's a leading network of managed venue, and today we have invited Ms. Shruti. She's the founder at BookEventz to talk about this brand. We also welcome management team of Franchise India, Gaurav Sen and Sonia ma'am. Once we'll get the correct and the complete understanding about the entire franchise model from Shruti, we'll move towards our question and answer session. We request each one of you to use your question and answer box to share your queries and your suggestion with us. BookEventz, the brand which has associated with 500 plus different corporates, and they have served institutions like ICICI Bank, Havels and Axis Bank, etc. And it is our privilege to invite now, you will be talking about this great opportunity for each one of you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining in today. May we request to start the presentation webinar with a small video from your side and then the presentation.
Thanks, Archana, for the great introduction. Before I start the presentation, I'll play up a small video which gives a quick glimpse on what exactly BookEventz has in store.
Sure. Look forward.
A very quick video explaining what exactly BookEventz Flagship is. So BookEventz Flagship is basically a network of trusted venues we kind of standardize the way how banquets are operated, and it's if you have to understand, it's a very similar model to how Oyo flagship hotels are. We would be for banquets. So we are and better quality of service. So with this franchisee program, basically, so we've been operating in Mumbai with these flagship venues for now 4 years, and we have around 60 flagship properties in Mumbai. With this franchisee program, what we are planning to do is we are planning to extend our presence across India. We already have up a digital presence across India, and that's why we have traction on the platform. Now we want to onboard, do backward integration and onboard venues in rest of the country. So very quick brief about the team. So it started by Harsh and me. Harsh comes from IIT Bombay. I'm Lucknow, has over 13 years of experience into business development and sales. I have done my engineering from GSIT's Indore, and then done my MBA from SP Jain. I have over 10 years of experience in both technology and marketing. And we have been backed by some solid investors, both in terms of angels and VCs. So that's Equanimity, Mumbai Angels, Lead Angels, and Let's Venture, who have backed us up. Very quick about BookEventz.com, and then I'm going to go to BookEventz flagship what we are looking at franchising. So BookEventz.com is the India's leading largest platform, event booking platform for venues and vendors for any kind of occasion, be it a wedding, a birthday, a corporate event, or anything. And we're present in 19 countries with over 8 lakh event inquiries served till date. We have around 20,000 venues and around 10 to 12,000 vendors listed on our platform. So BookEventz flagship venue, this was launched in 2017 with an idea to standardize the banqueting services, specifically the standalone banquets, and ensure that the customers get trusted service quality even at that standalone banquets. So that's pretty much the flagship business model, where we have our venue, which we take over on complete sales and marketing. We have a sales manager who sits at the banquet. For every venue that we onboard, we have one sales manager who will be sitting at the banquet. He will be having his customer acquisition and lead generation through our platform and software. And he would have a real-time calendar. He will ensure that he drives the entire business. So the aim of the sales manager is to actually convert the inquiries at the venue into business. So when we take over the banquet, we basically have our salesperson sitting at the venue, and the owner typically takes care of the operation. And we have a percentage take on the entire bookings or entire revenue that the banquet generates, be it walk-in customers or customers through online. So everything is handled by us. Now, why venues typically join BookEventz flagship program? So one, it gets them associated with a bigger brand, and they get marketing at zero additional cost. They have improved outreach and visibility because we have a great customer source through our platform. They get that source from access to that source from day one. They also get access to the corporate sales team, the corporate bookings that we have, and the branding, which is kind of more standardized and done by a top agency. In terms of their banquet, they get better utilization. So if you know, typically these banquet owners are all community driven. And if it's a Marwadi banquet owner, he will typically be doing all Marwadi business. Or if it's a Gujarati, it will be Gujarati, or a Christian. So when we come into play, we become like a professional entity in between, which ensures that we will do all community events, and our salesperson is going to be trained in terms of dealing with all kinds of customers, increasing the occupancy for the banquets. second, we bring in a lot of corporate events. Typically, banquets are not able to do any corporate events traditionally because corporates always tend to go up to a hotel. They never have a professional front face at the banquets, and that's the reason. With us coming into picture, we have seen that banquets get almost around 20 to 25% of corporate business, which again is an off-peak kind of business. And in terms of the technology, so we bring the entire technology assistance. We have a venue management software and application to manage real-time availability, respond to customer queries, manage our profile online, and so on and so forth. With BookEventz, joining the BookEventz flagship thing, overall the business and the branding at the venue kind of improves, and that's why the venue owners tend to join up our program. For the customers, we bring one end-to-end customer experience. So there's a professional person who's handling them, who ensures the quality standards, everything is well documented, and through the checklist, it's ensured that everything is in place. Secondly, we ensure best prices. When we say best prices, as we are able to do more volumes of business and we know how the demands are through our software, we can actually do differential pricing, ensuring that our prices are the best for the season. And the third is we are a one-stop solution for the customer. So not only do we help them with the venue, but once they come to our venue, we actually help them with all the other things, be it a photographer, a makeup artist, a sound system, or a DJ, or whatever. So that also is more like a cross-sell and an extra revenue opportunity for us. At the same time, for a customer, it's like a free event planning service. So yeah, our journey so far, so we have 60 flagship venues doing around 350 events at these banquets monthly, and 8 crore of revenue that we generate from these 60 venues monthly. On an average, we've done 30% increase for any for any venue in a year. And we see that when venues get onboarded with us, their perceived value increases because of the better branding, more professional approach and everything, and we are able to price them better. Also, we now over a period of time, we have onboarded, like for the 60 venues to be with us, we must have onboarded around 100 banquets in a span of first 1-2 years. And we've realized that which kind of banquets would work under this brand umbrella. And we have kind of the detailed checklist and parameters to onboard up a venue now. So yes, coming on to the franchisee plans, we're wanting to build pan-India network through the franchisee partners. And the opportunity is, while this opportunity is a very low investment opportunity and you are going to be able to be profitable in the very first year, it requires a lot of bandwidth. So it is unlike other franchisee plans where you just put in money and open up a store, and it's going to require some bit of your time. This would require you to invest a lot of your time into the franchisee. So while the investment in terms of capital is less and you can get returns, this is more for somebody who's looking for like a full-time business opportunity, and you're going to be expanding up a city for BookEventz flagship completely. So you get up a territory with the flagship model. So what is the role of BookEventz and the franchisee partners? So BookEventz will typically be taking care of generating the inquiries, the technology, the training of the salespeople, and designing the collaterals and the branding at the venue. While the franchisee partner's responsibility is to handle the local sales team. They are going to ensure hiring of the right salesperson and manage the sales team to ensure closures on the inquiry that are generated through the software. Now, very quickly, I think the way the revenue would work. So while the venue owner will get better business because we are going to be adding on to their business volume, they're going to take care of the operations. We are going to take 8 to 10% of the revenue share on all the business that we are generating for the venue. the franchisee will get this, and they will the franchisee will be acquiring properties and converting sales at the venue. BookEventz will be doing marketing, technology, and support, and we will be taking up a fixed monthly fee. Now, in this also, what we have come up with new is, while we were speaking to a lot of franchisee partners, we kind of understood that, it's a little tedious to kind of acquire properties when you are new to the business. So for the first 1 year, we are going to give acquisition support to the franchisee as well to onboard the first 10 properties. So that's typically the franchisee fee. So the franchisee fee is 7.5 lakhs plus taxes. The revenue potential from each property should be 1 lakh per month per property with a 8 to 10% revenue. So we're typically looking at, in the first year, an average franchisee will be able to onboard 10 properties, reaching out to like a 10 lakhs revenue per month. From which, so I'll come down to the costing also. So the royalty will be a fixed royalty per month that we'll charge per venue. That's going to be for the training support, for the marketing. It's more like a fee, not like a royalty, but for marketing, providing leads. What we ensure is we generate 60 to 80 qualified leads for each venue that the flagship, that the franchisee has onboarded in his area per month. You don't need really a dedicated office, because you can make one of the banquets as the meeting point. The expenses would be typically the salary of the managers and the local marketing, travel, and reimbursement. The average payback is 6 to 9 months, and the agreement term is 5 years. So you get an access to the territory for 5 years. This is how the numbers look like. So the average booking revenue, like per event that is booked, is around 1,98,000, of which if we take up 8% margin, then we make up around, so we make with 66 events, we make around 1.3 crores revenue per venue. I am taking, let's say, all other services which we were talking about. You do 30% of the events that you book, you do their bookings for other services worth 50,000, and where your margin is much higher, around 35%, you make another 10 lakhs from the ancillary services. And obviously counting it at a very base minimum for the year one, because you would want to be more expert in terms of venue for the year one. And this ancillary services part is going to get up to the venue number almost in a 2 to 2.5 years time. So the total gross margins, removing the cost and everything, for the franchisee is 13,75,000 per venue. And this, I'm all talking about per venue economics, because then we can multiply with 10 venues or 20 venues, whatever we kind of onboard on. The salary with the incentives of the venue manager is 30,000. The fee to the BookEventz for marketing, tech, everything is 35,000 per month. And we've taken some offline marketing cost as another 0.75% of the GMV. So the total cost is 8.86 lakhs, and the net earning per venue is around 4.88 lakhs. So that's your net margin PNL from a particular venue. And now if we look at doing that, in a staggered manner, reaching to 10 venues in year one, you will be able to do like a EBITDA of 20 lakhs in the year one, 42 lakhs in the year two, and 48.9 lakhs in the year three. So typically your payback period is around 7 months, for which includes your franchisee fee payback as well. So for the franchisee partner, what's more is basically the time you can onboard more venues, you can do more bookings per venue, and more services you can onboard, and be expert and have an event planner to do more ancillary services, eventually take up on decor, which is the biggest in the category. So as time grows, your understanding for the business will grow, and it will only help you increase your top line with the similar costs. Yeah, that's I think, yeah, so we had come up with this offer early this year with the new year, and because of the lockdown, we had kind of stopped the franchisee plan for last 3 to 4 months, and now with the business coming up back, we're starting it, and this is the offer till 31st July. The 7.5 lakhs of franchisee fee is now going to be 6 lakhs with a 1 month acquisition support. And if you take up the acquisition for 1 year, it's going to be at 5 lakh plus 2.5 lakhs for the acquisition of 1 year. So that's pretty much the discounts that we have given to our franchisees.
Shruti, we can't hear you. I don't, there's a problem with your network. As there seems to be a problem with the network of Shruti. If you just wait maybe for a moment, we'll just check and come back. And in the meantime, I will also request friends, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A. I see some questions which have already come in the Q&A, and we'll start taking them as soon as Shruti joins back.
Sorry, I just got disconnected. Am I audible now?
Yeah, Shruti, in fact, we lost your connection in between. Yes, we can hear you now.
Gonna share up. Yeah, so I was on the software. So this is the venue management software that we have built up. Uh, we very recently, like just last month, also launched an application, Android and iOS both, which for this software only, which makes it even more handy for the sales manager on the field to kind of manage the inquiries and respond to customers. In terms of marketing, so while most of the franchisee plans you will have to do both marketing and sales, this is a model where the marketing is completely taken care of by us, both in terms of B2B and B2C. So we're going to look at the corporate customer demand, the online digital weddings or birthdays and all kind of demand, and we will be able to generate enough demand for a venue online. So the flagship venues will only, like the sales manager will only have to take care of the sales, converting that business into bookings. Some of the corporate customers that we've worked with, and for these corporates, also it's a very good platform to do bookings via us, because we do like standard invoicing. We give them a dashboard to manage all their bookings and stuff. So that again helps them with it. This is how the venue branding looks like. This is the internal branding at the venue, and I think we saw some external branding in the video as well. So yeah, typically summarizing a good, events we all know is a very big and potential space in India. We have up a good brand presence from over last 7 years now. And most importantly, the brand presence is started from Bombay. So most of the people are aware, and it's easier to then go to smaller towns and cities. Also, we have built up an access to good corporate base, like we discussed. From a franchisee perspective, it's a good model for a full-time business to kind of pursue, and it's a new age kind of business model. So with bringing in profitability from year one, and an asset light model. So yeah, that's from my side. I'm open to questions, if any, from people.
Thank you so much, Shruti. I think this was very informative. And even before we close our presentation, we have a lot of questions which I see coming in. and maybe some part of the business model which a lot of our investors would also seek clarity on. So friends, I'll just give you a brief and summarize the model, and while we left a little bit in between and we tried to re-log in and cover that. So BookEvent, what they're trying to do is they are leading network of trusted venues in the country, and they're providing services which are, from corporate events to wedding to parties. And also some of the leading investors funds like Let's Venture, Mumbai Angels, have been a part of the growth journey of book events. And booking for an event was always a very big unsolved problem, very difficult work. It involved too many Google searches, calls, visits, negotiations before maybe a end consumer finalized a venue. And moreover, the problem also added up because there was lack of availability of the right venues, vendors. So what book events have tried to do is they've tried to bring in standardization, which was the biggest issue in this segment, and also price disparities, which was a burning issue. And this is what they have been doing to give as a offering to their end consumer. So the three stakeholders in the business: one obviously is the venue owner or the property owner, which can be the hotels of or star categories, resorts. The other is the client who will take the services, which can be maybe a corporate client, individual client. And the third is the brand itself, or a franchisee, I would say, which is facilitating the entire offering for a customized solutions. So what the brand is giving is they're giving maybe a value proposition to each the venue, which is the property owner, and also the client which is using the services. So as a franchisee, what you need to do is, and your responsibility starts with the acquisition, and this acquisition would be acquisition of clients and also acquisition of venues in the geography where you have been given the franchisee. And the other side is fulfillment, which means that whatever services have to be given, all that fulfillment is done by the franchise partner, where the company will also support with initial marketing, help in acquisition of some of the properties. And I did have 10 properties initially, which the company will also help in acquisition in the first phase. And that's a good go-to market for any franchise partner. And technology, which plays a very important role, and through their platform, any leads which are coming from your city will also be guided and given to respective franchise partners. Shruti, if I can take maybe a moment out, and if I can request you, would it be possible for you to maybe showcase so that our investors can get a glimpse of how the website looks like and maybe the services that you offer? I feel that would be very interesting and interactive, and some understanding on overall how business operates and services offered
Sure,
can win
sure,
on
sure.
that
I can
website which
actually,
we can explain.
so I was actually looking at a few questions, some that I responded to. I'll just open up and I'll share on the. So that's the website, which is bookevents.com. And typically you would, if you are searching anything, so our website would come up in the Google search if you search anything like a banquet hall in Mumbai, or yeah, so that's our website, which is bookevents.com. In that we have, so if you can go on here, you will be able to see all cities across in India and other countries. And you can go on to the city that you want. In the venues, you will see the banquet halls in Mumbai. So I'm in Mumbai, so I'm seeing Bombay banquet. And I can go on to here, I'll see all the list of banquets. If I go to vendors, I'll be seeing all the list of vendors which are listed on our platform. So let's go to banquet halls in Mumbai. And the book event venues are the flagship venues that we onboard. So this will only show venues which are our venues, which we kind of manage. This shows the entire list. So I'm just going to go to it's not working. My internet is a little slow. Some issue. I think it's taking a lot of time to load. But when you go to the list of the banquets, you can actually see the list of banquets that are up on the website and in all the vendors. You can also understand the way inquiries are generated. So let's say if I'm searching a particular banquet, Iris banquet in Mumbai, and then see this is BookEventz, which is the second link, and I typically open it up. You would actually see that particular banquet and you can inquire. So if I open this up in a new window, you will get up an inquiry form where we take up the inquiry from the customer uh, in terms of his complete details. So inquiry, when we say, is not just name and phone number, it actually means his occasion, that he's looking for a wedding, he's looking for a birthday party or whatever. Then how many number of guests is he looking for, what is the budget that they are looking for, which area they are looking for, and in a way, their event date. So all those details are captured in our inquiry form, and you actually get up a very detailed inquiry. When I was talking about 60 to 80 inquiries that we will generate per banquet, those are the on 7-parameter information that we take up, and the banquets will get leads filtered as per their parameters. So let's say we have a banquet in Andheri, which can only cater up to 200 to 400 people event, then they will only get those leads. They will not get leads which are lesser or which are higher number of people, or even for that matter budget range. So let's say that banquet is priced around 1,000. So we would not be giving them leads where the customer budget is only 500 rupees. Yeah. So yeah, so that's pretty much the website. I think so venue management software is something that I can't open for a particular login, but once you get access to, we'll be able to show through in a physical meeting.
Sure, Shriti, this was very helpful. And I see a lot of questions coming in. And while we only have the next, I would say 25 odd minutes to pick up these questions, so I'll start with the questions. And first of all, if you can talk about, and you already presented about 60 cities, and we've talked about the stakeholders. So one is the venue, the property, hotel owners, and the other side is my customer who's taking these services from a corporate client to an individual wedding. Now, if we have to understand, and I saw in your presentation about 66 odd bookings is what ideally one should be able to reach in a span of 1 year. So, and if you can also give clarity, because I see a lot of people asking whether they need to own these places, and on what relationship, what terms would these hotels sign up. If you can give maybe, overall understanding how this industry works, what is the role of a franchisee, what is he expected to, and maybe start from there, and then we'll start unfolding other questions.
Perfect. So I think very quickly, so I have first question which says that do you take the venues on rent for all the year and give it to our clients? So no, we don't take up venues on a fixed rent. We typically take up venues on a full sales and marketing model, where we say that we will be able to increase their business by a 20 to 30%. Now, obviously, nobody is going to blindfolded give us their venue and let us take over the entire business. So we tell them that for the first 2-3 months as a pilot, you can see that what is the kind of business that we generate, get that confidence, and that can then get into a year or a 2-year contract. But we also give them access to a lot of our current venue owners who have been with us in Bombay, to get them to speak to them and understand that how we have been able to increase business. Just to give you an idea, some of the venue owners in Bombay were, when we started in 2017, they were our early property owners, which kind of tied up with us, and they had 1 property each. Today, I mean, there are 2 owners who have gone from 1 property to 4 and 5 properties respectively in 2 years span, and all of those properties they have given to us to manage, right? Secondly, once you onboard, so the onboarding the first 5 properties in a city is a little difficult. But once you onboard those first 5 properties, you have enough word of mouth, and all these venue owners community is a very close-knit community. So they would be, a same venue owner will be a caterer somewhere in some other property, or he will be in friends with. So after the 5 properties, most of our properties then which came were through referrals from the venue owners. So the acquisition becomes easy after the first 5 or initial 5 or 10 properties. And that's where we are saying that just to cross that hurdle, we would want to support the franchisee partner with the onboarding of these first 10 properties, so that in the first year they can learn and do the sales part properly, while we can do the acquisition, and then they can take over the acquisition from the year 2. So
Okay,
yeah,
that's
so basically it's like I said, it's an asset light. We don't take properties on rent. We just take them on a sales and marketing model, where we say we will handle the entire inventory. You get confidence that we will be able to increase that business, and we are typically able to show that increase in 2 months to 3 months time. So and how, I mean, it's very direct, right? We are basically able to generate minimum 60 inquiries for each banquet every month, which is an additional source of inquiry. So those 60 inquiries, even if we convert like a 4 to 5%, you are basically getting another 4-5 bookings for the banquets, right? And a banquet typically does like 60 to 70 events a year. So that's almost, with a very small number of bookings, also 2-3 extra bookings in a month, you will be able to increase this business by a 50%. So yeah,
absolutely.
that's on that. Now, so I think the second question is, do franchisee need to acquire the property or mutual agreement with the property owner? So it's more like an agreement with the property owner. And it's a legal vetted agreement that we have made for the property owners, which we would kind of get signed. So when we're looking at acquisition, we will get these agreements signed off from the from the venues, and then they would be given up to the franchisee partner.
Okay. Okay.
We need to restart from franchisee piece sheet. I think that was because I got cut off or something. Okay. Okay, so I think somebody asked that should we have a large piece of land or a small piece of land? So we don't really build up the banquets, because that would be a very expensive affair. Individual banquet would cost you at least 1 crore to make up a banquet and do its interior. Forget about the land cost. So we typically take up banquets that are already built up. Newer banquets to be launched are our easy targets, because from day one we are able to give them the business of established property. Banquets which are bigger in size are our target. We don't take up very small banquets, because we want banquets which can do weddings, which can do corporate events, which are usually the bigger in size and does more revenue. I think, will the company help for marketing to reach it to the customers to venue or what? Yes. So I think marketing is going to be completely BookEventz responsibility. Like I said, we will generate inquiries, and we will commit you that we will be able to give you 60 relevant inquiries per venue per month. Now it's on the Flagship, the franchisee owner, to ensure that his sales team is calling those customers in time, ensuring those customers are invited to the venue for a rating. Typically, we have seen that from 60 inquiries, you're able to generate around 20 to 25 visits at the property. So 20 to 25 visits can then be translated into bookings depending on how the property is.
Sure. Now my question, you talked about marketing. So when we talk about marketing, what are we trying to do? So one side of marketing is acquisition centric, right? We're bringing and onboarding venues for the initial, I would say, go to market for a franchise partner. And the second level marketing is for the venues that we onboard. So the venue marketing is entirely responsibility with you, partially with you. How does that work? And where does one market? Because the platform is with you. So if you can explain, the marketing bit of.
When I'm saying marketing to get customers is the marketing that we do. Marketing to get venues, the initial list. So we have listed these all cities. So let's say we're talking about Ahmedabad, right? We would have listed Ahmedabad on our website since almost 6-7 years now. So we have a huge data of venues, which venues have got most inquiries from us. And venues would have heard about BookEventz, because they do get emails from us when a customer inquires in Ahmedabad today. So we have been giving them free inquiries all these years, which whenever a customer inquires for them. Now when we onboard, they know that they have been getting certain amount of business through BookEventz. So yes, we will also have a data of venues that we need to approach to onboard on a flagship model.
All right. And further marketing of these venues, will that be done on your portal, or the franchise partner will also need to do some parallel
Yes.
marketing?
So all the marketing would be done on the platform digitally. We would give all the offline collaterals design. The execution of the offline collaterals is going to be done by the franchisee partner.
Okay, that's helpful. So the idea is, because I see a lot of questions around, who brings and how it helps a property owner. So ideally, the franchise partner has to build inventory. And when I say inventory, it has to be this inventory of hotels, venues, which are suitable for, hosting these parties, events. And on the other side, they also have to, create that customer base who will consume. So this is acquisition, which will go parallelly, while you need a bigger customer base who will consume these services, and the inventory would be the inventory of the geography which is given to you. Now, Shruti, my question would be, because we've talked about various kind of events, and some of these events are seasonal. Marriage is seasonal, winter, summer, in their seasons, and corporate can be throughout. So when we talk about 66 odd bookings or venues, what should be the ideal inventory of these venues? So if I have to do at least 66 bookings in 1 year, so ideally how many venues should be with a individual, and typically what is the breakup of these 66 bookings? How many conferences and how many
bookings are from one venue. Each venue has basically 365 days into 2 slots, morning and evening, right? So they have around 720 slots that they have, out of which we need to only do around 66 slots. So typically, standard banquet would do anywhere like 40 to 50 to, a good banquet will also do 100. We've taken up a very realistic number of 66 for the year 1, and these numbers will increase. So if I have to give Bombay, in the year 2, we were able to do almost 100 bookings in every banquet that we had, right? So that's the kind of number that you can reach to, and that incremental number of bookings is completely an additional revenue, like only a profit add-on for the franchisee partner and also for the venue owner.
Sure. And
So,
another question is also, how do we evaluate, while we bring these venues on board, typically, how does the evaluation, I'm sure there's some tick mark, that we say, this value, the venue is appropriate. So is there some kind
so
of...
we have almost like a 20-25 parameters checklist of what kind of venue to onboard, which we've built from our experience. Like I said, we've onboarded around 100 properties and then kind of dripped down to 60. And then understood which were from category A, B, C properties in it. So we have now made up a parameter checklist of what kind of parameters needs to be looked at the property. Basis the parameter, we also have a fixed commercial. So let's say if a property is little smaller or is very new property, our commercial percentage is going to be maybe 12%. But if a property is very well established, already doing a good business, the size is also good, we might do a lesser commercial, even 8%. So that commercial percentage, with respect to how the proposal comes, we have a format to it, which we kind of evaluate.
Sure. That's helpful. And also on the deals, because we work with some specific venues that we onboard, do we also get deals? Because I saw on your website, there were some deals which the hotel was giving. Now, is that specific to BookEventz? So do we have specific deals that we only give to customers who book through BookEventz?
So,
and is that something which a franchisee works?
So I'm not able to
deals and discounts, So,
yeah, so
we talk about deals and discounts.
Deals and discounts is something that we promote for our flagship properties. What we do is basically like I said, right, our software helps us understand the dynamics in terms of the demand that is there for a season. And if there is a lesser demand for the season or a particular day, or, we've seen some banquets which are very close to corporates work very well for lunches, whereas banquets which are in residential area have absolutely free lunch time, right? So depending on that, we come up with what kind of deals that the banquet can promote in order to fill its off-peak inventory.
Okay. And how do we also ensure, because there's also a direct team of hotel which is making the sale, and there is some pricing which is also put on the website. How do we ensure, that the pricing that we've put is very, very competitive, for an end user?
The pricing that is put up on the dash like on the website is like a standard rack rate price. No banquet will put up the discounted price online because the pricing is very customizable in case of a banquet, depending on the number of people that you're taking, which date, what time, what occasion, what menu spread, the price changes. What is the online is a standard veg menu and a standard non-veg menu price, and that too rack rate. So if you take up a standard menu, the prices would be lesser than what on the website.
Sure. Now, coming on the category of these, venues, what kind of category of venues do we onboard as an inventory? 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, business hotels. So, what is the inventory? And I'm sure that also hotels which are always in demand. They're at premium spots or locations. So, and many of them would already have, the entire year booking. So, how do we go about looking at these kind of properties?
So the properties map is typically, so we would take up standalone banquets. We would also take up some bigger restaurants and lounges, which can do a lot of private parties. I mean, in Bombay, there are certain restaurants and lounges which are as big to hold up like a 400, 500 people wedding, right? So we had taken Hard Rock Cafe in Bombay when it was up, and we used to do a lot of wedding sangeets in Hard Rock Cafe. So yeah, you can take up lounges. Basically, it's a very clear distinction is any space that can hold up gatherings of 200 and more. That would be our target. It could be hotels, banquet as well. So we will take up 3-star, 4-star, 5-star banquets, hotel banquets. We could also take up party plots. However, we kind of restrict the party plots to not take more because they are very seasonal and you can't really book them in summers and in rainy season. So we take lesser of party plots, but yeah, I think banquets, hotels, restaurants, lounges are the target. I mean, even resorts for that matter are all the target segment.
Sure. And Shruti, like you said, this is a home-based, so the only investment is the franchise fee which the franchise partner gives to you. And maybe with the whatever setup he has at home, or maybe some complementing business that he might be doing, he can fit in the same and does not require initially too many resources. Ideally, the resource which is required is maybe a business development person who can go and liaise with these hotels to build up the inventory. So, because I was seeing the question on the investment, so the entire investment is only on the franchise fees which one does, and the operating expenses would include your marketing cost and maybe one resource initially to start off with, and maybe as and when the business grows, evolves, you might need more people, and a lot of resources, especially in a business like this, can also be resources which are not full time. They can be part-time resources, or they can also be freelancers depending on the occasion and the function that we are doing. Another question, Shruti, I like to take up is on the rollout important locations, because I see already present in about 60 cities, international presence in 10 odd countries. So which are the important cities in India that you want to be in, and how do we segregate the territories? Because I think a lot of cities in India have been covered. So if I talk about Delhi, how do we segregate Delhi, between two partners? So and what demarcation is given to a prospective partner?
Typically, I think some of the top targets that we've identified through the platform in terms of, so we've seen multiple, like we've done like a city analysis and we've understood which cities work best depending on, what is the kind of budget spend that people do there, what is the size of events that is happening there. I mean, so, cities like Ahmedabad and Indore are very good prospects, even though they are smaller cities. Because the kind of size of events there is pretty high, right? So average size of events there is like 1,000 people, whereas that would be maybe at 300 people in Bombay, right? Taking up Pune, which is a good mix of both corporate and social. We will also consider Delhi is a very, very big market. So Delhi would be divided into multiple territories. Because Delhi is a huge market. It's almost like 3x of what Bombay size is. So because both in terms of, again, number of events that happen there, number of people the amount that people spend onto an event per person, all of those factors. So I think good support from us would be in terms of, anywhere, if you look at the entire of Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara, In MP, you can look at Indore and Bhopal. In South, you can look at Hyderabad, Bangalore, or Chennai, Delhi, the entire Delhi market. Near Delhi, even Chandigarh is a good market. We can also look at some cities nearby like Pune, Nasik. It'll be, I mean, our preference to start up is more closer to Bombay because then we can do more hand holding in the initial time. So once that's set up, and then we will expand up gradually. So that's our idea. But yes, pretty much everywhere in terms of the major cities that we look at as a market.
Okay, now a couple of last questions, Shruti, which I'll take, and a lot of people are asking on more information, want you to send even details, and we'll reach out to all of you friends and share the complete information, and also get you connected with Shruti on anything that you might want to know in depth. So, Shruti, I wanted to ask, since we already have a big network of hotels, and I'm sure, we talked about how we would segregate the zones in maybe a specific city. For example, if I have a my geography is South Delhi or maybe East Delhi, for example, but I have a client in East Delhi who wants to do an event in South Delhi. So is there some kind of referral fee that works in this business for the partners? Or maybe I
No,
would say I have a client in Delhi. I have a client in Delhi. I have been given Delhi as a geography, but my client wants to do a business or an event in Bombay, Bangalore. So how do we treat these kind of businesses?
You mean to say region preference for the client?
So I have a Delhi region, South Delhi may be allocated to me. So I build an inventory here, but my client might be a corporate, who has events in, or maybe it's an individual client who wants to do a destination wedding, maybe in one of the 10 countries we are present in, or maybe in Bombay. So how do we treat these businesses? Is there some kind of reference fee that we give to?
Ideally, that is something that we take care of centrally, and we don't want the franchisee partner to digress. It's very difficult. I'll tell you, 1 in 100 customers you will be able to book at a property which is not yours, because people will keep on inquiring for you to identify codes of different properties, ensure that your margin is there, do a contract with that. It's all very tedious. I mean, so it's not something where you can do, like, you don't want to be an event planner, right? Which is going to be doing just 4-5 events a year. So we don't want the franchisee partners to be digressed to doing business outside of their properties. Yes, but we generate. So if we have a franchisee partner in the other region and somebody wants to refer, we can always do like a refer client to the other things, and it's more like helping each other.
Sure, Shruti, that's very helpful. And we did talk about the business, and we talked about monetization model for a franchisee from the inventory that we hold, right? So if we give a certain business, there's some percentage, 8% that we get from the hotel. How about the customer side? Is there something that you also charge from the customer one? And I also saw on the website you have a lot of vendors which are listed on the website. Is that something which a franchise partner also works to bring them on board?
So we don't charge anything. I mean, to the customers, they are actually booking our banquet. So customers don't know that there's a venue owner and we are in a different entity. For the customer, we are the venue owner, right? So the customer is paying us to book the venue. So there's no extra commercial that the customer kind of has to pay. And in terms of vendors that are there on the website, so we kind of curate up and list up these vendors. We identify which are good. We can help the franchisee partners partner up with top 3-4 vendors in each category, which they can recommend and do a lot more business with.
All right.
So again, for vendors, it's not good to give customers like 10 photographers as suggestions, right? At our venues, we limit it to the top 3 photographers of that area, that budget, and just suggest that to the customer. So ensuring that the customer is not too confused, and we close at that with the vendors which we have.
Sure. I think that's helpful too. And that also answers one of the question which I'm seeing just now, which has come in. Who collects the entire fee? So this is BookEventz. All booking is done through the platform, which is BookEventz, and entire payments are taken by them. So I have Denex, who has a lot of questions. Denex, you have a lot of questions. I will request, because we cannot do entire model A to Z, but in a nutshell, BookEventz, like I said, this is a platform which brings the entire community together. On one side, you have to build inventory of hotels. If you have been given Bangalore as a geography, you will see in Bangalore, maybe South Bangalore, or whatever territory has been given to you, you will market in that territory. You will acquire customers who will take services in these hotels, and these services are marriages, corporate parties, or weddings. And the other side is the venue. So you have to acquire these venue, where you sign an agreement with these venue, and you sign an agreement to promote these venues on the platform of BookEventz. And when these hotels, venues are promoted on the events, the customers who are looking for event properties will leave an inquiry, and these inquiries will also be sent to the prospective, to the franchise partner in that city. Apart from that, the partner is also required to do local marketing, so that he can reach out to maybe the customers who would need these services. The monetization model is very simple. All business that we give to the hotel, so if I bring any client to the hotel, and what we are assuming is about 66 bookings per hotel is something one should be able to do. So whatever revenue is generated out of that, the franchise partner takes about 8% of the entire business, and there's a fixed royalty structure which the company would take. Is that right, Shruti? So out of the entire business which you will do from the hotel, there is a royalty that you will charge from the prospective franchisee. Comparatively, your operating expenses are very, very low, because you don't require a fixed infrastructure. You don't require too many people. And only after maybe you reach a certain scale, you can add people. And even the people working in the office might not be full-time people. They can be people who can also be part-time, and some can also be freelancers. If you booked a big event, you might need 1 or 2 extra people to look at. And I will request friends, if you have any further questions, which might not have been answered, I would request we can have one-on-one call with all of you. And a lot of you have asked for the information, shared your email IDs and phone numbers. We'll send the entire working with you, and also we'll select a day where we can bring you on a one-on-one call. Anything that you might have not understood or still not clear about, we'll get you on a call to give you more clarity. At the same time, right profile of people is very important here. This is not, if you look at the investment, it's very small investment, which starts as a special, I would say, the discount of 6 lakhs is what is the franchise fees which has been given at. So this is a return on time model, where you need to have, your time put in the business, have in the first initial month, I would say, is your BD month, where you have to acquire a lot of inventory, especially we are in a season where a lot of marriages will start happening in the month of August, and then the winter season starts, and a lot of corporates, as the market open, will start moving out. So you will take at least the first month of your time to build that inventory and business, and eventually the business will start flowing in the subsequent months, say end of month 2, 3 onwards. So Shruti, since we are coming close to our time, I will request, if you have your last message that you want to send or share with the audience, please go ahead. And friends, we have taken note of all your queries. Some have been answered, but we are more than happy and glad to extend any more information, help that you need. Over to you, Shruti.
So I would just call, I think, there were a lot of questions out today. We might have not been able to answer all, but I think I'm happy to interact with you one-on-one. As a process, what for anybody who's interested, right? Please, like I said earlier also, please consider this is a full-time business opportunity which can grow multi-folds if you invest in your right time and energy in it. And you wouldn't really the investment is only needed for the year 1, which also you kind of recover. So it's not, it's more of capabilities that we'll be looking in franchisee partner than the investment. In terms of support, I think you can trust us. I think you would be getting more than 100% support from us as the business entity. Our idea is only to grow it in multi-cities in order to enhance our entire business and brand valuation. And that's why our franchisee fee and the way we have structured the model is very, very profitable model for the franchisee partners. We want them to be not having stress on financial side, so that they can give in their energy from day one. I think that's on it. But any questions, feel free to connect back to Franchiseindia, and I'll be happy to do up a one-on-one session with you guys.
Thank you so much, Shruti. And I'd like to thank all our participants for being with us and all the questions you've asked. And we'll try and answer all of them. And I can see some names, Om Prakash, Vani, Denex, of course, a lot of questions from you. And some already have been answered, Shivani. And friends, I will request that you reach out on the hotline number. Shruti, is there a date that you want to suggest that we can bring prospective investors on a call with you for a discussion? Is there a date that you can think
I
of?
think typically Saturday looks comfortable for everybody. So either a Saturday or a Sunday is what we can look at when it is comfortable for everybody. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
am typically
Tuesday today. If 17th is okay, what we can do is, friends, in the meantime, we'll send you the entire presentation which you can go through. And also there's a recording of the entire webinar which you can see on the Facebook page of Franchiseindia brand. So in the next 3-4 days, what we'll do is, including today, we'll reach out to all of you, and especially our investors who have posted all the questions for more clarity, and we'll fix up your time for Saturday, which is 17th of July, Shruti. So 17th is what we'll fix, and we'll seek a convenient time from you to align these calls. Okay. Thank you so much for being with us, Shruti. And Ashna, thank you. Over to you, Ashna.
Bye.
So thank you so much, Shruti, for joining in today. Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am, for hosting this particular webinar. Dear friends, as rightly said by Shruti and Sonia ma'am, you can connect with us to have one-to-one interaction with Shruti on 17th of July, that is Saturday. Please book your slot at business hotline number, which is 9717683838. Also connect with us at different social handles, information on your screen. You can go to Facebook page of Franchiseindia Brands Limited to see all the previously done and this particular webinar under video section. You wish to join with Gaurav sir and Sonia ma'am, you can connect both of them at their respective LinkedIn IDs. Information we have just given on screen. And today under Bharat Franchise Show, we wish you to join us sharp at 7 p.m. for our Punjab chapter. We have invited the brand's founders and the directors from different vertical representing their brand. So please do registration either at our business hotline number, or you can visit us at the Facebook page. We have shared the link over there. Do registration right now so that you can join us for again 7 p.m. show. And tomorrow under business opportunity with Chai 12 p.m. webinar, we are bringing Suman Waste Management. That's a brand which will come and talk about how you can associate with them. The brand is into the vertical of waste management, and they are providing multiple business opportunities for you. As low as with 10 lakh rupees, you can start business with them. So if you wish to partner with Suman Waste, please join us tomorrow sharp 12 p.m. by doing registration. Same again at the business hotline number or at the link given at the Facebook page of Franchiseindia Brands Limited. Thank you once again for joining in today. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Stay safe.